The Alrick Mackenzie Show starts right now.
The Alrick Show, inspiration, motivation, one vision, hope to one new generation. Together we can live and learn. Yes, we're one family on the Alrick Show.
Born into poverty in 1981, Kevin is the first child to mother Miriam Levy and father Byron Downswell. But it was in 2003, at the age of 22, Kevin's life transitioned into stardom. He continues to tell us more today on the Alrick Show.
Blessings.
Kevin, we're back again. We're at it. Take me back to the earlier years. You were born in Westmoreland, Savannah Lamar.
Savannah Lamar, Cabbage Tree, Smithfield, Wharf Road. Those are all the different names of the vicinity that I was born in. To a mom who was at that time 15 years old.
15?
Yes. It was the greatest challenge for her to carry a child, knowing that you're still so much a child.
And so your mother would have grown you to love the Lord and to worship the Lord.
Yes.
Tell me about the years with mom. So as a struggling mother.
Wow. I mean, born to a mother 15-year-old, who is 15 years old, she was mainly alone because dad was, he tried, but he didn't have it, you know.
How old was he?
He was about 21 or so. And he didn't have it. So a lot of times men feel like if I don't have the financial support, then I'm not a real man. So we take ourselves away. And so mom was mainly alone. So it was day by day. It was having a handful of flour, put that in the pot, cook the one flour, cut it in four, pass the plate over to me. And she would go to bed most of the time hungry. It was me. We had a little cane field right next to the house. Sometimes she said she would be looking for me. She can't find Kevin. And she said, advice said, go into the cane field. That's me. The cane trash right beside me, and I'm fast asleep in the cane field. I would go to the window sometimes in the shop, and I would say, bun. But she wouldn't have the money to buy not even a bun, not even a round.
Did you see your mother cry at any point?
Maybe she did, but I've never seen her cry. It's amazing the things that she went through, but before her kids, we never saw mom cry.
Silent
We saw resilience, we saw determination, we saw someone who she dug her whole shoulders in. She dug deep just to ensure that her kids had enough to go to bed with and to go to school with and to make it through life. She would walk to the house to do the helper's work, wash the clothes, clean the house and so on, and then leaving from that job, she would go to another job and so on. And so she would just do everything in her ability to ensure that we were okay. My mom has always been my greatest inspiration.
What is that song that you remember when you reflect in your years and you hear that song, you're like, mommy?
There's a old group called Barnes. I don't know what they call it. MC Barnes, something like that. I'm coming up
on the
upside of the mountain. I'm doing my best to make it in. And she would sing that song. Those songs that, my God, I mean, you would hear her cooking the little tupa flour, brother.
But the love that's going in that flour, man.
And I would just sit back as a baby and watch her and just have my plans in my little head.
Yes.
I would say, I'm going to make you the richest mother ever one day.
And what is the conversation you have had with your father about, he doesn't think that you should have been around because he never had the money? What conversation have you had with him these days?
My father and I we're good. We're good. The thing is, I spent a brief time with my father. My mom had to come to Kingston to find a job. So she left me with my father. And for that time, I saw him try. I really saw him try. I saw him would go out and he would work, and he would come home and he would try his very best with what he had. But then when we left, there comes the absence. And so it was those years between the 8 years old and becoming 20-year-old where the absence, the silence of not having a father, not those calls that a son look forward to.
Yeah.
Those affirmations that say, "You're my son. I am proud of you." I personally believe that the reason why we have so much men in prisons is because they never got
That guidance.
that one voice from that father to say, "I believe in you. You're my son. I'm proud." It's that one little word, proud. Bro, it goes a far way. And so we had a real conversation. And I said to him, "Why weren't you there?" Why? And he basically took about a year to answer. Like we men, we're very scarce on words. But when we do talk, we talk. And he said, "I never had it. I never had it. Why would I call when I don't have anything to say?" I said, "But you could have still called. You could have just called and say, 'How you do?' You could have simply called and just say, 'You're all right. I love you.'"
I met my father for the first time over a year ago.
Wow.
And I've asked the same question. I'm yet to get the answer. So I trust that I will get the answer. So I know very well.
Man, that moment was gold for me. And I was determined to not be complacent and to repeat another unhealthy cycle in my family. I never knew how to love a wife because a father never sat me down and said, "Bro, this is not how you treat a woman. You don't beat, kick, jumble, raise a voice at a woman. You love a woman by loving her the right way." I never had anybody like that. Who taught me that? God himself, the word of God. It's where I sat down in the presence of God, sat in his word and learned what love really was. Love is patient.
Right.
Love is kind. Love don't become upset easily. Love don't think about it his own. Love. And so I never had a physical father who was there to teach me about love. So I had to go through the spiritual one. And what a lesson. And how many impeccable lessons they have been. And that's how I'm learning. I've learned how to love my wife.
All right. We talk to Kevin when we come back about his transformation in 2003.
The Alrick Show. The Alrick Show.
After Kevin's talent for singing was discovered at the age of 13, he went from singing at church and at small events to becoming an international gospel artist. Kevin, that's a major breakthrough. Like what happened? How did it all happen?
Let me start by first saying that when I was talking to the Lord about, and this is me going in the middle of the whole journey now, I asked the Lord one thing: can you do what you want to do through me without any popularity? Seriously. Because seriously, I did ask the Lord. I said, could we just avoid that path and just do what you want to do? Because I really didn't like popularity, because I saw what popularity did to a lot of people. So let's come back now to being at 13 years old. I realized that I could sing. And the first thing I did was to join the choir at the church. This is Faith Mission now, on Maxwell Avenue, right there at the corner of Pretoria Road. That's my first church. That is the church that where I'm growing up, and I'm leading the choir. I am singing at different concerts all over. This little fine voiced boy who's always leading and and it's just thrilling people. And I was just singing for God, just learning how to love God, growing up 15, 16, 17, 18, learning how to lead. So I was led, I moved from leading the choir to becoming head of this and head of the men's group, until I was eventually ordained an evangelist, until they saw me fit for that. And that was so strategic, because an evangelist is not somebody who sits at home. An evangelist is someone who go all over,
right, into the
to spread the word,
all over, yeah.
Community across the country, across the world, to do one thing: spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so my first pastor, Bishop Hamilton, saw me fit to have that post. And let me tell you, that man has always been and will always be my first mentor in life. He's the one who would say to me, Kevin, don't let this get to your head, you know. When I'm in church and he began to see me now getting more popularity on television and, you know, doing interviews and you're on shows, he would just pull me aside and say, come into my office. So what's happening now? Yeah, and I would say, you know, yeah, I'm getting a lot of shows and so on. And he would say, so where's your head with this now? Where's your head? Where's your head? What do you think about this? And he would just ensure
that you're grounded.
That I'm grounded.
Take me to that time when you had to go to the Lord and say, Lord, but anyway, I have my degree in biochemistry. I'm supposed to be Dr. Downswell. What's happening?
Yes, man? Boy.
Take me to that stage when you were at a crossroad talking to God.
I'm at Excelsior Community College. Did well. No transition to UWI. Never got my first choice, which was medicine. Had to do pure and applied sciences for 3 years. I'm wrapping up pure and applied sciences now, right? I'm at the middle now. I'm at saying, okay, I'm doing well. This looks like I'm going to get to medicine. Well, a few months after, I got the call. You have now been qualified. You are now qualified to do medicine. And the Lord said, let me intersect a little bit. Let me intercept you. I want you to do full-time ministry.
Full-time healing.
Ball for like 4 weeks. I come on the road and I hear them fat man. People are say, brother, you alright? I would go on shows and sing to people and say, God is coming through and change is coming. Can you? And I would go home and say, God, why me?
So while you're ministering to people, you're struggling.
Why would you do this to me? Seriously. And people just have to know this, that people who minister to you have their real struggles as well. And just as how you are going through and they're helping you get over, they have to help themselves get over what they are going through as well. And they have to trust God just like they're asking you to trust God.
In 2003, you won JCDC. With which song you won with?
Praise. And that song was written, again, a lot of my songs were written from struggles, from trials, from tests. Praise was written at UWI when I was struggling to find money to just go through the day, to just buy lunch at UWI, because student loans covered my fee. Student loans gave me a grant to cover some stuff. So I had to find my way through. My mom was around, but my mom didn't have much. And I will not, as a big man, put no pressure on my mom with all that we went through. So, me just start right, and praise come about. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to when my mind gets so confused. But when I decide to praise, something mighty happen in my spirit. It's like saying praise causes the walls to fall down. That was basically what the song is all about. And the rest is history. You find yourself walking out to the edge of a stage with somebody raising up your hand saying, you're the winner, hold up this trophy, and you're saying, what am I doing here? You know, this is not what I actually planned. Fast forward, bro, 5 years from there, I'm releasing my first album, Close to You. 4 years from that, I'm releasing The Search Continues with You Make Me Stronger and everything. You're touring the world, you're traveling. And 4 years later, you're releasing the third album, 4 years, and you're saying, God, I'm looking back at that moment when I had to decide full time. And in that moment, it felt confusing, it felt frustrating. But I'm looking back now, and all that fills my heart is gratefulness.
Beautiful.
Because I'm saying, if I did not obey you then, I don't want to know where I would have been.
We take a break. When we come back, we talk more with Kevin about his continued success and his life as an author.
The Alrick Show. The Alrick Show.
Kevin Downswell made it to mainstream in 2003, and his success has continued up to this day. Kevin, you've even went as far as to write a book.
Yes.
The search continues, the journey. What's the inspiration behind this book?
This is my first book. People, there are different people out there. There's a man who would respond to lyrics on a tune or something like that.
Right.
But there's somebody who might be able to receive a message quicker by reading it.
Right.
We believe that people learn and people receive messages differently in different forms, and this is one of the reasons why I decided to write the book. And this is my first of many, because I'm already in the process of getting my second one done.
Wow.
Because we want to be able to touch people, different society, different background, different experience. This book, we had completed my second album, The Search Continues, and we wanted to be able to get the reality of the songs, the background where I was when I wrote a lot of those songs, like You Make Me Stronger and If It's Not You and Already Done and all of those songs.
You made a statement here in a paragraph. You say, You Make Me Strong is a song of victory and pure glorious joy. It makes you just want to dance in the midst of your pain and turmoil, because we are reminded that all these things are working together for our good. God makes us stronger, not just yesterday or for today, but also for the future.
You Make Me Stronger moment was like, I am weak. I'm feeling. Paul said it's almost like I've lost all desire for life.
Right.
You know, you can get to that place where you literally lose all desire to live. You know, people can get to that place, and I was at that place where there was so much happening that you're at the deepest, roughest place. Like the three Hebrew boys, I'm in the midst of my fire, but I'm going to create heaven, and I'm going to create a praise in the middle of my fire.
Can this lifestyle become so difficult that you want out?
This, of course, it can be. If you don't have the right support, if you don't have the right connection, and when I say connection, if you don't have God in the center of what you do, and if you're not connected to Him, if you don't have the right support system around you, it can destroy you.
Are you happy?
I'm extremely happy.
A lot of people don't ask that question. They ask us, are you getting married? Are you this? Are you that? What are you doing? But they don't ask us, are you happy?
I am happy, but let me more say, I have the joy of the Lord. Because sometimes happiness has to do with your external circumstance, but joy comes from deep within, from just being connected to the proper source, who is God. And so I must say, I have the joy of the Lord. Things outside doesn't determine if I smile or not anymore.
When was the last time you saw that degree? You looked on your degree.
Just the other day. Just the other day.
When was the last time you looked at it?
Just the other day when we had to print some paper and send off to some people, right there and then, and I'm so proud.
Right.
I'm so proud.
What do you do?
I mean, my degree don't compare to my wife's degree still. When you look at my wife's degree, you see first class honors, and you see mine like honors, like. But
and both of you are neither on that side of the fence.
Boy, bro, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Right. Do you think you still want to be a doctor in your old age, when you feel like not singing anymore?
I've had instances where I said to myself, if I was a doctor, this would have been different. But then I catch myself and I say, hey, I am a doctor. In one fashion, in another form. God is working miracles through me. And I met this little girl the other day who had cancer. And I walked up to her and I said, she's playing my song in my midst, in my presence, and she don't even know. And I walked up to her and said, why are you playing my song? And she said, she looked up and you're Kevin Downswell? And she was just going to do a surgery. She was about to go on the bed.
Blessed Lord.
And I looked at her face and I said, do you know how special you are? And her whole presence had changed.
Wow. You know, that's healing though.
Bro.
Just the way you look on life, that's
Bro.
healing, you know, that's healing.
I saw another girl the other day walking with an oxygen tank. And I said to her, what you doing with this? And she said, at 2-3 years old, something happened to her lungs. And I said to her, do you know that you have to walk with that proudly? I said, do you know who's talking? And she said, no. I said, Kevin, don't. And and I said, listen, don't you ever be shy. Don't you ever be ashamed to walk with that tank. You're gonna get past this. Live your life. Put a smile on your face. Go to school with the tank and be proud of yourself.
If you were to live your life over, what would you change?
Wow. Learning to love the right way earlier and loving more people, you know. Love is something that is defined by different people in different ways, but God's love is the love, and learning to love the way how God loves way earlier heals people quicker, rather than the way how we want to love. Love is not about how you want to love. Love is the way how God said to love people, and so just loving people. Learning how to love people way earlier than when I did learn how to love people. You know, that's what I would have changed. Loving people. You can minister to people and not love them.
What is your favorite song? Give me one line from that.
Oh my gosh. There's so much.
One favorite.
Jesus stepped in, broke down my barriers. Jesus stepped in, all my walls fell down. Now I can see, now I can be. I feel my world changing. God lives in me. Finally.
Thank you very much,
Blessings.
Kevin Downswell. These
Blessings.
are powerful words
Respect.
of encouragement.
Thank you for having me.
Bless you.
Blessings.
All right. We want to thank you so much for joining us for this episode on The Alrick Show. See you next week.
The Alrick Show.